Hello everyone, I just finished Ape Escape 2, and I'm going to talk about it. I really like this game. I recall really enjoying the first Ape Escape a lot more than I thought I would, and I'm very pleased to say that the second game also feels very fresh. I guess it's been maybe a year since I played the first one, but I can say that I really do enjoy this one as much, if not maybe a little bit more than the original. Maybe because part of the reason of that is just the energy that this has. It feels very 90s in the sense that the main characters, Jimmy and Natalie, I'm pretty sure that their voice actors are the exact same as Ash Ketchum and Misty from Pokemon, and if I'm wrong on that, it still feels that way. And also just hearing them, just the energy and the emotion they have in and the warmth in the game makes it feel like a very, I guess, family friendly, like a very rated E for everyone experience that I guess I'd mostly expect to see on something like a Nintendo console, but seeing it here, it still has that same kind of energy on the PlayStation. And as, I guess I'm not sure if this was a launch game, but it definitely feels kind of like that way. I should probably look up when it came out. But yeah, just by vibes alone, this was a very fun experience. And again, not a terribly long game either. I think it was just the right amount of time. I guess the only thing I just realized at the end of the game is that I beat it, I got all the monkeys, and there's one thing that I do hate about it, but is fine, is that there's a gacha mechanic. So there's a gacha machine in the lobby, and you can basically roll on that to get things like concept art, little stories, comic strips. I find that the comic strips in this game are very fun and very cute. They're just little vignettes of the characters and the monkeys. And again, this game is similar to Mega Man Legends. It has like an anime vibe to it, but like Saturday morning cartoon anime vibe, if that makes any sense. It's just very, I don't know, it's very cute. It's very entertaining. It's also very interesting that a few of the monkeys, I laughed really hard, where a few of them are, of course, references to historical figures or literary figures. But I found it very funny there was a Monkey Hote, reference to Don Quixote. And the casino level, I thought it was really funny that there was one monkey called Vincent, and his tagline was Royale with Cheese, which is just a Pulp Fiction reference. So there's quite a few of these. There's Ape Wood, who's like... Clint Eastwood, sorry. And so yeah, there's a bunch of references to actors and like famous people. And so for those that know, it's kind of an extra bonus, I guess. But yeah, maybe I'll just kind of go into the overall gameplay. I guess the one thing that is new is that Jimmy is the new character. And Jimmy and Pipochi are kind of this duo. And throughout the story, Pipochi will like disappear and be in danger and whatever. And Pipochi is just this baby monkey that has a thinking cap on, and it's kind of okay. And so, I mean, the whole story here, of course, we're not playing Ape Escape for the complex story, but it just happens to be that after the events of Ape Escape 1, Jimmy is the professor's new assistant. And the professor's on vacation on the beach, and he asks him to send him a bunch of pants for the monkeys. And so Jimmy sends him a bunch of pants along with the helmets, because Pipochi has one and thinks it's okay to send the helmets. But of course, Spectre ends up grabbing one of the helmets again and ends up assembling his monkey army again, and you have to beat him again. So... that's just the basic setup. Again, the story isn't super important here, but really it's the mechanics and the vibes and just how fun the game is. So in this one, essentially, all the mechanics are more or less the same. You're going to start off with, your beam sword. What else? You have the beam sword, your net, and your monkey radar. And so those three really have not changed at all. It works pretty much fundamentally the same. I would say that Jimmy probably controls a little bit better than Spike, simply because It was a first attempt at a game. It was a little bit rough in terms of 3D space and navigation. So Jimmy feels a little smoother than Ape Escape 1. But it's more or less, again, roughly the same thing. You're pressing the triggers or R1 to jump, using the left triggers to use first-person view and camera controls. There are definitely a few times in this game where camera controls got very, very frustrating, especially when you're backed up in a corner and you see the monkey run off screen and you're trying to press L1 to basically lock in on the direction that Jimmy is facing, but sometimes it doesn't fully go that way, or sometimes you'll be standing still, and if Jimmy is facing a certain direction, that's not the camera, it'll just automatically go in that direction. So like any 3D game or early 3D game, the camera's always a bit of an issue. Again, I really do appreciate that they kept true to the original formula in here, such that the right control stick is responsible for the function of all of the other items and equipment, and well, technically they're called gadgets. So you're still using the net to swipe in the direction you want to catch the monkey. The beam saber, I think the only thing different about the beam saber, the control's the same, but it doesn't seem to stun the monkeys as much. It was kind of like if you hit the monkey once with the beam saber, then you were almost guaranteed to have it be knocked down for a few seconds and catch it. In this case, you might have to hit them multiple times. And again, there are pretty much all the instruments from the very first game all make a return in this one. So there's really, nothing missing. The other thing that is different is that there are, of course, some new weapons, and there's this one fire hydrant which puts out fires, which is again a very highly situational weapon. It doesn't have any function outside of that. There's also Bananarang, which is a boomerang that you throw out, and I can tell that the developers really wanted to put this in eventually, but it's just not really a great function or a great tool, honestly. The issue with it is that you have to aim unintuitively. You have to aim in the opposite direction to make it go where you want. So if you want it to go in front of you, you're aiming back on the control stick, which is already kind of weird. It does have a reticle, and then its one function is that it can, if you rotate it, it'll send out pheromones or banana scent that will attract the monkeys that have empty stomachs only. So you have to be careful. Pay careful attention to the stats of the monkeys that you're trying to catch. There's a few others, and I'll come back to them when I think of them. But yeah, it's more or less the same game, just more levels, more monkeys, more mayhem. The same vibes are here. Again, I'm not sure exactly what the specific... There's a specific idea behind this game, and I just say that because... the first level is like Liberty Island, and you have a giant monkey Statue of Liberty, and so I think the scope of the game was going to go somewhere like the whole world has been taken over by Spectre's monkeys. And for example, in the concept art that's not in the game, they have the Eiffel Tower, and there's a giant banana stapled to it, and it's basically breaking the tower / holding it up. So I think they were trying to do kind of like a Mario Odyssey thing, but that kind of goes away very quickly, where after Liberty Island, you don't really have any iconic locations. It's just kind of like, you have the Chinese, platforming level from the first game. You have the Ninja Dojo, but nothing like this worldwide quest to stop all these monkeys. It's not like you have a map showing, the whole world and all the continents, and you're going around the world stopping a monkey takeover, and a bunch of famous places have monkeyfied. No, it's just the first level. But I feel like they were trying to aim for that in some way, and it just didn't happen, I guess, in production. But in any case, it's still fun. I'm trying to remember the first game if they actually had currencies and pickups, because in this one, like I was saying, you have the gacha machine, and part of that gacha machine is you're picking up all these little coins that the enemies drop, or you hit, boxes in the environment and they have coins inside them. A really interesting mechanic for collecting is that if you get 5 coins in a row within a certain time frame, it'll essentially give you this boost, and all the coins you pick up after that become stars, and those become 5x, which is humongous. And if you have a 5x star that drops and you get that combo, it becomes a 10x star. So the ability to maximize your gacha reserves is quite great in this game, and it definitely is kind of required for the end game when you are getting what do you call it, the gacha. You're rolling for gacha, and I guess on that point, the gacha is actually very fair, I would say. Even compared to recent games, like I just immediately thought of Kirby the Forgotten Land, and the main difference there is that in Ape Escape, the gacha machine, it very rarely gives you duplicates. Instead of giving you duplicates, it'll give you something else useful, like explosive ammo or guided ammo for your slingshot, or an extra life, or extra cookies or health or whatever. And so I never felt like I was re-rolling and getting the same low-level thing over and over and over again. It's like, no, every level you got a new thing, and of course you can unlock things from later levels, so they do kind of content block that, I guess is the right word. That you can only unlock the concept art for level 7 once you've beaten level 7, kind of thing. And so there's a very good feeling of progress and consistency where you beat a certain boss, you go to the gacha machine, you get the concept art for that boss. And that's pretty much it. And again, like the first game, you only can get the amount of monkeys that are required, and it'll automatically kick you out of the level. And so there is some strategy to think, well, because eventually when you come back to that level to do the 100% run, you only want them in that one area that you have to deal with them. And I never really had any trouble going throughout this game. There wasn't really any like monkey that was in like an impossible spot that I had to look up. It was all fairly straightforward, per usual. Oh yeah, and I forgot, the only other new thing in this game is that Spectre has now brought the Monkey 5 with him. And so the Monkey 5 are these 5 kind of boss monkeys that you have to fight throughout the game. And they each have a different color, like the Power Rangers. So you have blue, red, white, pink, and yellow. And with the exception of yellow, you are pretty much fighting them all once. Yellow is actually a really funny one, where he's the fat one. The blue one is the fast one. The pink one is the pretty girl one. The red one is the macho one. And the white one is the smart scientist one. And and then so basically it basically works the same way, except that after you beat each level, I guess every 5th or so level, you go right into the boss fight. And again, it ends with, Spectre being the final boss, and they kind of pull this, little thing with it where it'll roll credits saying, okay, you beat the game, you can kind of exit, as you like. But at the same token, it basically says that if you reload the game, they'll say that, oh, Spectre somehow escaped, and in order to fully, really, truly beat him, you have to capture all 300 monkeys. And so you just have to go back and redo the game. Well, not redo the game, but get the hidden ones that you didn't get beforehand. And I was fine with that, but what I'm not fine with is the time trials. I'm not fine with doing the exact same level again, but just faster, to get a medal to say I got 100%. I literally don't care. So that's not happening. I think the very cool thing, though, that is kind of warranted is that if you do end up finishing the final, the perfect ending or whatever, oh God, it's so traditional in the sense that your reward is that you get a final cutscene with Jimmy falling back to Earth with Pipochi, and guess who shows up in that cutscene is Spike. And I really did not expect to see the protagonist from the previous game. That's a very kind of legendary ending or hardest difficulty ending kind of thing. You have like an extra character or an extra skin or something kind of rare, or something that's referential to the saga as a whole. And with that, they also have this special feature. If you hold L1 and then select new game, you can play the whole game again as Spike. And I think that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool nod. I mean, it's just a very simple a skin change, but that kind of unlock, it feels really good because it feels like you could tell someone, oh yeah, you can play as Spike in Ape Escape 2. And you're like, what? I don't know. It just has a good feel to it. It's very old school, where it's like one of those things that feels like someone made up on the playground that, oh, you can do this thing. You're like, no, that doesn't sound real. That's not possible. If you get 100%, you can play as like Team Metal Sonic or something. And but yeah, it's here, and it's actually pretty nifty. I guess Spike doesn't really control differently than Jimmy. He just has different grunts and voice lines when he catches monkeys from the first game, so nothing really new or exciting there, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, there was funny things like the RC car can now become sushi or pudding. I'm not sure if they had both that in the first one. I'm pretty sure they didn't. And usually it just affects its speed abilities, but it doesn't really do much. But it's funny that they had it. One of the gadgets they do end up bringing back, or sorry, a new gadget is this kind of magnetic kind of thing that allows you to attach to things. And it's actually kind of nice how they introduced it in the final boss, where you have to magnetize his weak point and then hit it. I thought that was actually a pretty cool combo. But yeah, overall, when I think about Ape Escape 2, it definitely is... it feels a little bit easier than the first game, for sure, but it's still very fun, very cute. I love the cutscenes. I love the energy. I love how they always yell Jimmy whenever they're loading, or they get a new gadget or something. The soundtrack is also very appropriate, very nice. The intro theme may be a little bit annoying, but it has the right energy. It feels zany, it feels crazy. Overall, like a very fun game. I did find the jumping to be a bit frustrating though, because just you never got enough momentum. It's like you're always stuck in a vertical like ceiling. And it's funny, Pipochi, the one thing he does do is he sometimes helps you float to a ledge when you do have him. The other thing he also does, which is super useful, is that if you run out of health, he'll give you an extra cookie, essentially, so you can get an extra chance at life for defeating final boss or something, which feels really good. But yeah, overall, I can't really think of anything else to say about Ape Escape 2, except it's a great game. It's still very fun, and yeah, I had a blast playing it, and I can't wait to see the rest of the series. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about this one. I'll see you later. Bye.